What's the question?
How important is it to truly help people, and why?
This is the hardest switch I had to make. The hardest switch was, you're in a business to make money. It doesn't matter if it's helping them or not. As long as you sold your product, who cares? It went from that to making service the top level, and then everything else comes underneath it. It is the most important way of running a business and your life and your family, to serve others, to do that kind of stuff. Okay? Now, I don't want you to think that because I'm on the stage and I give you all these motivational stuff and all that kind of stuff, that I am perfect. Because sometimes, I'll tell you, which a lot of people don't know, sometimes I feel deep down that I need to be perfect. Because I'm at this business, because people come to me for advice. I got presidents, CEOs, and big companies coming to me and asking me. They just think whatever of me. So let's say if I say you should spend quality time with your family. Believe me, there are times in my life when I'm sitting at home, but I don't believe that. Because that day, that moment, that person is not my favorite person at that time. So on this side, there are bad parts of Sunil. And this side, there are good sides of Sunil. The goal is for me to tack on more of these most of the time than this side. So like some days when I wake up, maybe I don't have the big energy that I teach about. Someday when I'm writing my notebook, I'm not really into it as much as I should be. Some days I don't go for a walk when I teach everybody to go for a walk in the morning, for example. Okay? On this side, for example, helping people, making lots of money, taking care of them and all that stuff comes on this side, this side. So who is Sunil is somewhere here. That's Sunil. Because there are times where I don't want to speak on stages. There are times I don't want to mentor people. Mm-hmm. But one thing is for sure, I've learned this, that you cannot work with your feelings and say, I don't feel like it. Because the commitment is made and you got to go do it. That's it. So today, if I didn't want to come and I didn't feel like coming, I haven't missed one presentation around the world where I said I'm going to be, and I was there. It doesn't matter if I was sick the day before or I slept for 2 hours. It doesn't matter. Jet lag, nothing. I showed up. So that's what it is. And I suspect for you guys, all of you have this side, and no one's perfect, and this is where you kind of are. And the goal is to get all these positives, or as many positives, and make them into negatives into positives, so that you stack the positive up, maybe 60, 70, 80, 90%, and then here is 30, 40, 10, 5%. So you want to reduce, and you want to increase this, and this is who you are.
What are some of the viruses that were installed in you when growing up?
Viruses. Poison that you drink that every day. Now, I actually wrote these ones down, and I'm going to actually get you guys involved to see if you kind of know about this or heard about these and all that stuff. So I'll start a sentence, and you guys finish it. Would you do that? Yes. Say yes. Yes. Okay, this is where you say yes. Okay, good. So first one I'll start because it is the most demeaning, the worst poison virus that I got that you may have not gotten, but you may have gotten something similar to that. And that is this, that you will beg on streets. My father told me repeatedly that if you don't study, you'll beg on streets. Okay? And in India, beggar is really demeaning. Like, it's not a good thing to say. Stuff like that. So, now the other ones. I'm going to say something, and then when I do this, that means that's where you fill in the blanks, okay? So, for example, I would say to my wife, I love you. Okay, could say it again. I love you. Okay, good. That's a good start. Okay, slow and steady wins the race. Wow, you guys are great. Stay under the radar. Stay under the radar. Thank you. Money's root of all
Evil.
Rich people are
Bad.
bad. Money won't make you happy. Money won't make you happy. I guess they don't have money. It's better to have love than money. It's better to have love than money. Selling is evil, bad. And then your mom, be careful. Watch out, be careful. Don't do that. Watch out, be careful, be careful, be careful. Be careful. Then you're 2 years old. Be careful. 5 years, 2 years, be careful. 10 years old, 20 years old, 40 years old, 50 years. Be careful. Make sure you eat your food. Don't do that. Anything you want, don't do that. Don't do that. No, don't touch that. Don't do that. Knock on wood. Knock on wood. It takes money to make money. It takes money to make money. Don't put all your eggs in one
Basket.
Diversify your investment portfolio. Eat all your food. Clean up your plate. Right? Because there are people in the world dying. So if you eat this, it's going to go in your tummy and somehow they're going to feel better. Save money for the Save money for the rainy day, because rainy day is coming. Right? You plan for it. You want it. You attract the bad stuff. We can't afford it. We can't afford it. The last one is, this is what my parents told me, my uncles, my extended family. Don't do business with your friends, your family. Anybody heard that?
Yes.
Don't do business. And then here's the amazing part after that. Don't talk to strangers. So,
That's so true.
so let me get this straight. We're in a business. So we're going to start a business. We need clients. So don't do business with your family. So they're out. Don't do business with your friends. And they're out. Don't talk to strangers. Good luck with your business. All your life, we've been taught, don't talk to strangers. Talking to strangers is the only way to become successful. Talking to a lot of strangers is the only way to grow. Right? So, as I'm saying this, some of you, I can look at you and say, yeah, but that's kind of true. You don't see the negative part. You don't see the poison. You don't see the virus. Slow and steady wins the race. Slow and steady wins the race. How about fast and steady wins the race? What the hell? Why are we slow and steady winning the race? You know who made that? The people who are rich, and they told poor people, you know what? Keep at it. One day you'll get there. Yes, sir.
Are we allowed to ask questions right now?
When I'm done, you can ask me questions. Yes, please. Money is root of all evil. I think most of you understand that. Rich people are bad. Now, if you keep saying rich people are bad, then rich people in your mind are bad. That means you can't be rich. And it's reminded to you by media, music, movie stars, and everyone that you come in contact with. Okay? When I was not that wealthy, and if I heard that Halle Berry made $20 million for that movie, my instinct was, why would they pay her $20 million? I mean, I worked so hard for my money, and now she makes $20 million for a movie? Sure, good job, Halle Berry. Or how about a baseball player who moves from one to another for money? Or how about if the baseball players goes and strike and they're making $10 million and they want 20? Are you guys very sympathetic to them? That's a problem. because if you can't be what you don't like. So remember that. Money won't make you happy.
Goes a long way to working.
I tell you that the people who made that up, BS, were the rich people who wanted the poor people to work really, really hard for them. And they will sit up on the top and say, yeah, it's good to be poor. It's amazing. You should be just working 18 hours a day. The movie stars who play the poor people are wealthy. The musicians who sing about the bad songs are wealthy. They're pretending to be poor to make you happy so they can be rich. Be careful. Don't do that. Knock on wood. Knock on wood. Knock on wood is almost like something great comes to you and now you're expecting to go away or to be negative now. So that's why you never want to knock on wood anymore, because you're inviting the problems. I used to hear my parents say, when the good things comes, surely a bad thing will follow. So be careful. It takes money to make money. Now this one is quite interesting one, because some of you are saying, that's true. It takes money to make money. I think the statement should say that it helps to have money to make money. When we say it takes money to make money, it just means that if you don't have money, you're going to be poor for the rest of your life. There's no chance for you. So I want you to change that by saying it takes money to make money, but it doesn't have to be your money. Okay? You've seen Dragon's Den, Shark Tank. You see everyday examples. I did not have money for 77 properties the first year. So you have examples of people who did it without that. Okay, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Some of you, when I was saying that, your mind is saying, well, that's kind of amazing advice. And if you're a financial planner, you hate me now. Because that's how, this is a big portion of takes money to make money. Or don't put all your eggs in one basket. Now, if you want to slow and steady wins the race, put some money away, and have some money at the end, okay, that's fine. But if you're here to become wealthy, financially free, or become multimillionaire, you cannot have that attitude. You look at any person who became very wealthy, they took an idea, a project, or something that they want to help people with, and they put everything into that project until they were finished. You cannot have Warren Buffett thinking about other stuff, or Steve Jobs. It doesn't work that way. You have to be totally focused to make that happen. So it's an idea. Think about the idea that whether you can do it or not. Eat all your food. Look, guys, I would rather have you not eat all your food, because in North America, our problem is not that we don't have too much food. Our problem is that we have too much food. Okay? And our problem is, I would bet all of you, almost all of you, because some of you probably are very healthy, all of you, I bet, if you were to cut your food in half of what you eat, the amount of food that you eat half, you will not starve, and you'll probably be healthier. Okay? Because we are all on seafood diet, right? We see it, and if the food is this much, we're done at that. If the food is that much, what if you take a bag of chips that's this big, and you take it to your bedroom, right? And you're watching a movie for 2 hours? You're on a seafood diet. So cut your food in half, or whatever portion you want to do that. Save money for the rainy day. It's like saying, we're going to get money, but we're going to have bad days. Let's plan for bad days. Let's actually attract the bad days in our life. And then money we made, we'll use it for the rainy day, and we can start it all over again. So we can live paycheck to paycheck to paycheck to paycheck. We can't afford it. It is so deep-rooted that from wars and the time when we couldn't afford, if you did not hunt, you did not eat, and you did not live. So it goes that far back for you. I know people who make $50,000 who say, I can't afford it. I know people who make $100,000 who say, I can't afford it. I know people who make $1 million and say, I can't afford it. So change that to, I can afford it. I will do it. How can I do it to make that happen? Okay? That's the most important part. Those viruses that you have, change them. First know it, then change it. Great, I'm done.
What are the few things you would advise people to give up in order to be wealthy?
Social media, she says. Social media. There's a good side and a bad side of social media. So use the social media from the good side point of view. I would say, what I'm about to say, most of you do it, but won't do it. You will continue to do it because it's really, really hard for you to not do it. Okay? Number one is to stop watching or reduce your TV. Number two, stop listening to music that tells you that the world is bad, that life is bad, that there's not enough. All the Indian songs from the olden days, the guy named Muhammad Rafi, and Mukesh, all he talked about how life is bad and you're going to lose, one day you're going to die, and if you don't do this, the whole world is against you, don't fall in love, like all that kind of stuff. And we love it, we enjoy it, it goes down into our hearts and we live it and go, and then one day we live that. You lose everything, you go, well, and then you listen to the song again saying, see, that's great. So stop listening to songs that talk about bad stuff, okay? Take away the people in your life, identify people in your life that suck away your energy, and figure out either how you can change that situation, or maybe they don't serve your life anymore, and make bigger, better, positive friends. It's very tough to do, I know. Because that's almost like me saying to you, find rich friends, and that's against everything that you were born with. I don't leave my friends because they have no money. That's not what I'm saying. Poor people with less money can still be positive. But find people who are positive about money. So you can add friends to your life and start hanging out. We had Brian, who was here before. He talked about the mastermind. I can tell you one thing that will change your life completely. Be part of the mastermind. Why? Why masterminds are more important? Let me tell you, the most important part about connecting with rich people is this. It is a 600 years old, it is 10,000-year-old technique to connect with people who are successful and wealthy. And raise your hands if you've never seen me. Raise your hands all the way up, please, if you've never seen me before. So it's only for those people first, if you can guess what that is. Let's see. And I have an audiobook called Success Secret with Jack Canfield. So raise your hands again if you've never seen me before. Yeah, you've seen me before. What? You remember me, Sunil? Okay. What is a 10,000-year-old technique to build deep relationship with people that you want to make money with or attract or do business with? What is that? Help them. What's next one here? Okay, raise your hands again, guys. Don't be lazy. Yes?
Stay with positive people.
I'm sorry?
Stay with
Positive people, yes.
they're not ready yet.
I'm sorry?
The positive seed in your mind.
Positive seed in the mind. Okay, so
Build relationship.
I like that. You're very close. Yes. I'm sorry? Influence them. I love that. You're very close. What's that? Do you want to? Oh, I love it. Mastermind. Excellent. Okay, so break bread with people. The 10,000-year-old analogy is we used to live in a little huts, hidden away from animals so you don't get killed and all that stuff. And people that you loved, people that are your family, you would come into your home. It'd be warm and food is right there. We share the food, and deep level of relationships are built on that. Masterminds, what Brian was talking about, the one I do and all that kind of stuff, they start with, first thing, in an abundant setting, so high-end hotels. Secondly, they start with breakfast, chef-attended breakfast. So you're breaking bread with people and all that stuff. Breaks, lunches, all that are part of that stuff. And what you need to do is you need to be part of that consistently, because that's where the people that you need to hang out with are there. Now, if I say to you, first example, hey, you should break bread with people who are successful. What's your next question? How do I find them? How do I convince them to take, how do I do that? You could try for 6 months, a year, 2 years, or never. Or just go to the masterminds. It's very, very, very simple to do that stuff. I know what your mind's going to say. Oh, I got to spend $500. Oh, my God. The best amount, people pay, some of the places I go, $10,000, $20,000 for that. They don't pay for the food, by the way. They pay for the relationships that are being built. I want this. He has that. Let's do business together. That's where the money's made. It's the relationships where the money is made. And it's very, very important that you build those relationships.
Next question.
Is that the last one?
Second to the last.
Okay.
Can you give us a step-by-step plan to become part of your millionaire or multi-millionaire list?
First thing to realize is this, that no one and no intelligent person, like they said in Think and Grow Rich. Think and Grow Rich was written by Napoleon Hill with the help of who? What's his name?
Andrew Carnegie.
Andrew Carnegie. Andrew Carnegie was he's still business. He was a multi-millionaire, and he said, "I'll open the doors. I'll make the introductions. You go out and figure out what made them successful and all that kind of stuff." In there, they talked about that no intelligent person will ask another intelligent person to do something for them on a consistent basis for free. It just doesn't work. Poor people on a consistent basis want things for free. So that's one. I would say to yourself that pretend you're very, very successful, and in order for you to work with people, are you going to want to work with free people, or are you going to work with people who paid you for your time to make that happen? So that's one thing. Secondly, investment into yourself is the cheapest thing or the best thing you can do on this planet. You are the most important person on this planet, so invest into yourself to grow yourself and bring yourself into that. That's the second thing. The third thing is to become a member. Some of you are members. Be amongst the positive people on a consistent basis. Keep attracting people with money, investors, and your clients. Attracting your clients, not going after your clients. Say to yourself, how do I become part of the center of influence? In fact, how do I become the influencer myself, which we talked about before? If you want to see what kind of person I'm looking for, that 100 million list, is I'm looking for a doer. I'm looking for a person who says, I'm going to do it whatever it takes. Whatever it takes, I'll do it. And even if you're scared, it's okay. But I want you to do it, because your life, your family's life, your generations to come's life, how they're going to react, behave, and look after, whether you're going to take care of your family, extended family, your parents and all that stuff, depends on you whether you're going to be able to make the money or not. Money is the most important part, beside oxygen. You don't believe it? Look at the people in the world that don't have money. That's it.
How much have you made in a day?
Did everybody hear the question? Yes. Repeat your question, please, so I can think.
How much have you made in a day, in a single day?
Well, it varies, right? It's different per day.
So how much?
I think she wants to know what's the maximum.
25,000?
So I have made $25,000 in a day, yes.
50,000?
I've made $50,000 in a day.
100,000?
I've made $100,000 in a day.
What's the biggest? What is the biggest?
I can tell you that there was a day that I made over $1 million in a day.
Oh, hallelujah. Oh.
And the truth is, some of you have seen me make $100,000, $200,000 in a day, and you're the witness for that. And the important part to understand is that there's no specialty. I did not have a special connection with God who gave me special powers over you to be able to do that. So if you want to make $50,000 part-time, $100,000 part-time, or full-time, or $1 million in a year, the idea is if you know one person can do it, then now you can do it. People often ask me, how do you sell, buy, and sell 77 properties in 1 year? That is the most exciting. I have to tell you, I do not send out emails and say, hey, come to an event, I'll teach you how I made $1 million in 1 day. The problem is they don't believe it. They don't believe this is doable, right? And I say this not to really say, okay, well, look, I made so much money and all that stuff. I say that to you, that you want to climb a mountain that has $1 million on the top, let me help you get there. That's the whole point. If you're a member and you're not taking action, the money's not going to come to you. If you're a non-member and you don't want to take action, don't join PIC. If you are a non-member and you want to join PIC today. We're going from 5 years to 1 year. And all of you know, when I say that, you know this is not a marketing. I have people come say, hey, that's a marketing scheme. I give them a great deal. They go, oh, it's a marketing scheme. And then they come back and say, oh, I can't have that? No. And this is exactly what I teach my students as well. Just do what you say. Do what you say at the end of the day. Join me if you want to go on the journey of 5 years to make that happen. So there are 2 things that I want you to share with you. I know we're kind of running out of time, so I'm going to finish right now, which is this. One is I want to tell you that there is one guru, one human being that is, if I had to pick one, I have so many, that changed my life in real estate. And if I had to choose one, it would be Robert Allen. It would be Robert Allen. I opened Toronto Sun one day when I was struggling, and he says, buy properties, nothing down. I threw the paper away, came back to me somehow in my hand, and I thought it was a scam. I went, paid $5,000 for a boot camp, and that boot camp changed my life. And some of you have met me at Robert Allen's event. Since then, I have bought Robert Allen, I've written books with him, I've went to his home, I've taken some of my high-end students to his home and changed their lives completely. And I'm bringing Robert Allen on 3rd and 4th of February. So write this down, please. 3rd and 4th of February. If you don't have that date, write it down. Can I have those 4 things for Robert Allen, please? And I want all of you, if you haven't gotten your tickets, to come to it. Raise your hands if you have tickets to come to Robert Allen. All the way up. Let me see. All the way up. Perfect. Yeah. Raise your hands if you bought a ticket. How's that? Okay. All right. Just bring those 4 things. So the way he's coming on 3rd and 4th, and Robert Allen is the original guru that coined the idea of nothing down. And I was talking to him last year, and I said, Bob, I would like to have a legacy of yours, because you changed my life, to have a nothing down for 2018 before we leave. And he said that would be the best thing. And now, time came where I had to convince him that I am the guy that's going to do his legacy, which is on videos and things like that. Thank you. Yeah, leave it right here. So we talked about it for 6 months back and forth, and he finally said, okay, I trust you to do this, my legacy forever, to stick around and all that kind of stuff. So we're bringing him for 2 days, nothing down. And the idea is we're going to film that, and we're going to record that, and we're going to make it a product, nothing down product with Robert Allen, and Robert Allen will get royalties and things like that, okay? So today, what I'm going to do is, it's Black Friday and all that kind of stuff, and what I'm going to do is, first of all, find what I'm trying to do is this. So the ticket to Robert Allen, general ticket to Robert Allen's, regular ticket is $500. Some of you have already got these tickets for various different ways. And today, the ticket to Robert Allen and the gold note. This is, by the way, a stamped 24-karat gold note, $1 million note. Okay? And the reason why it's 24-karat gold note is because you got to remind yourself every day that you are a millionaire. And also in here it says, I am financially free. You should get one for your family, for your wife, for your extended family, for your Christmas gift, or whatever it is. So I carry it because every time I touch my wallet, it reminds me of that. Okay? It's very, very important. You want me to hold this up? Marketing. Thank you. All right, awesome. So today, when you buy a ticket for Robert Allen, I'll include the gold note. I'll include one of the books or audiobooks that you want, which is in the back, and a Petro-Canada savings card where you, up to 100 liters or something, you'll save some money. I'll include all that for $47. So the $500 ticket, the gold note, the card, and the book for $47. How many think that's a good deal? Raise your hands if that's a good deal. Stand up, please, if you want it. Just stand up. Go ahead. Go ahead. Keep standing up. Stand up. I want you to go back. Oh, yeah, stretch. You guys are like, yeah. How many of you like this interview style that we just did? Raise your hands if you like that. Awesome, awesome. And I actually shared stuff that some of my close family members don't even know. So what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to go back right now and start buying it. And I'll give that deal until I run out of the gold notes. So if I run out of gold notes, you can still buy it, but go back and buy it, and I'll be back. Is this a break or lunch? Oh, this is a lunch. Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, so 77 properties. When I started, actually, all I wanted to do was double my income. I used to make about $100,000 as a platoon commander. And that was with overtime and working long hours and things like that. So I thought doubling my income was good enough. That's good enough for the first year. That will give me the guts at the end of the year to quit my job because I made $200,000 instead of $100,000. Because $200,000 were, it was a lot of money to me. So what happened was I ended up making $200,000. I wrote down, Sunil Tulsiani will make $200,000 by the end of year. And I dated it and signed it, and I put it those signs all over the place at home. And within 3 months or so, I ended up making $200,000. And then I said to myself, well, if it works for $200,000, I always wanted to be a millionaire. So I, Sunil Tulsiani, will make $1 million by the end of the year, or by this date. And I dated it, and I timed it, and I made 16 handwritten copies of that statement, and I put it all over our home, 16 different places. And Sangeeta came home that day, and she ripped everything off. And she said, we cannot allow people to come to our home and see this kind of stuff all over the place. So I remember other than washroom and the fridge, I was there. But I remember then saying, how do I do this? So I opened up my closet or cupboards. On one side of the door, I put it. On the other side of the door, I put it. And when you close it, you can't see it. And in my closet where all the things are hanging, I moved everything aside, and behind it, I put it there. So when you put it back in, you can't see it, but once in a while, you get a little glimpse to doing that kind of stuff. So the first thing was the intention of making the money, not knowing where, how I'm going to do it to do that kind of stuff. And then the second thing was the almost obsession of that goal only. Somebody said, hey, here's some shiny object. And I said, is this giving me what I want? No. So I didn't care what they said. No. Just boom. I got to the point where actually I was really, really upset when Saturday and Sunday came. Because people on Saturday and Sundays don't work. And I wanted to keep going. And there was times I had no idea what day it was. Was it Monday? Was it Tuesday? Was it Wednesday? I had no idea. Only when Saturday, Sunday came, I knew it was a weekend because I can't call the lawyer. I can't do this. I can't, oh, today's Saturday, we're off. I was just upset. I'm like, I don't want to stop. So the 77 properties, the way I did it is I did not care if I sold 1 property or 10 properties or 200 properties or 77 properties. That was not my goal. My goal was to make $1 million and whatever it takes to make it happen. So what I did was I had gone to this gentleman in Burlington, and I repeated this over, and he was buying what we call as a condo conversion, townhouses. And what a condo conversion townhouses are is that these townhouses, where there were 44 townhouses, and they were under one deed. And somebody who converts them to condo makes 44 deeds. So you can sell them individually. It's like apartment buildings versus condo buildings. He came to me and says, Sunil, I already bought another project, and this just fell into my lap. It is such a good deal, but I can't do it myself. And I said, long story short, I said, if I buy 20, would you be able to do it? He goes, if you buy 20, I'll buy this and I'll close on it. I will do all the work. I will condo convert it. I'll fix it. I'll help you with managing it. I'll help you getting tenants, rent-to-own tenants, and all that kind of stuff. So I was having lunch at a place called Bombay Bale, not too far away from here, at Eglinton and Highway 10 area. He looked at me and said to me, are you sure you're going to be able to buy 20 townhouses? And when somebody successful extends their hand, you only have 2 choices. It's to be called as a bluff or do it. And I shook his hand. I said, absolutely. No idea that I was signing up for $4 or $5 million worth of stuff. Where is that going to come from? Don't know. How am I going to do it? Really don't know. What's the setup? Don't know. Where are the investors going to come from? Don't know. He gave me 60 days. And I said, I'll sign a piece of paper that says I will sell 20 townhouses on a best effort basis. 0 down. No money down. I said, what do you have to lose? Nothing. Right? But if I sell it, you're going to give me $10,000 per each townhouse. I tell the story that, and the restaurant, when I shook his hand, I went to the washroom and I threw up. I threw up. And it was not a good feeling. After I threw up, I got it back up, came back to him, as if nothing happened. Because I don't want to show weakness. I'm here. The lesson number 2, after what you want, was the ability to have the guts to do things when you don't have stuff. Because if you're already rich and you can buy the condos, anybody can do that. Or if you already have an investor lined up, anybody can do that. But if you don't have them, ability, it's the guts, and people use different names throughout the years. You must have the guts to do it. And be afraid, have fears, and do it anyways. So I have some people who say to me, yeah, but I'm too old, I'm too young, I'm a student, I'm black, I'm a female, I'm this, I'm that, that's why it wouldn't work. And this is all bullshit. That's a story you've told yourself, and you're living that story. So I go in and shake his hand, I go away, and every moment of waking time, that's all I was thinking about. How do I do it? Robert Kiyosaki says, when I read his book during that time, say, how can I do it? And I didn't know, how can I do it? So the way it worked was this. Today I understand what I was doing subconsciously, but I did not know then what I was doing. So I went to this event, and it was a real estate event, let's say similar to this. And then I went to same real estate event during this time. And I'm sitting right in the back, somewhere over there, because I always sat in the back, because I thought people sitting in the front, that's not for me. Sit in the back, be quiet, you can never speak, you can never have stage time. Somebody who asked me to stand on the stage for 10, 20, 30 seconds, I would melt. So I would always just sit in the back, so nobody can pick on me or don't have to ask questions. I let others ask questions, and I'm sure I'll learn. This guru, real estate guru, is talking about a U.S. real estate guru talking to Toronto, saying, hey, by the way, so how many of you, he's talking about no money down in Canada and hard money lending, private money, and all that stuff in Canada, and how to buy no money down and all that stuff. And he said something as he's finishing up for lunch. He said, after lunchtime, we're going to talk about this. So me, I'm very quiet. I'm just thinking to myself, how do I do this? How do I do? But before I went to that event, by the way, I said to myself, why am I going to waste my time going to an event? Why don't I just find the money? It's going to be a waste of time. Something told me, though, to just go. And I was there with a bad attitude. It was like crossing my hands, and not even really listening too much and just basically in my mind saying, how do I do this? How do I do this? How do I do this? Lunch comes, and this speaker, well-known speaker, was walking, and he comes to the end of the aisle, and never in my life has happened, because I always was a person that thought that people don't really remember me and all that kind of stuff in the crowd, because I was never saying. He came and stopped, and he looked at me, and he says, hey, you're back. My heart went, what? How does he remember that? So I said, yes. And he said, so what's going on in your life? Why would he ask? Like, my mind is going, why is he asking all these questions, right? Like, go away, have your lunch or whatever. And I said, yeah, since that I bought 3 or 4 properties, I've done this and bought a pre-construction condo and all that stuff, and I bought a few of them for no money down. He goes, what? Really? Congratulations. So I said, thank you. Didn't think too much about it. Didn't do anything. Goes away. Lunchtime, finishes. I come back, I sit in the back. Sitting there, again thinking, how do I do it? How do I do it? How do I do it? And this guy comes up and says, hey, some of you think that I'm from America, U.S., and probably this doesn't work in Canada, right? And some people raised their hands. Yes, you know. And so what if I was to tell you that we had a student here 3 months ago, came here, took the same course, and has bought 4 or 5 properties. I can't remember right now at that time. He's bought 4 or 5 properties. Now, how stupid am I? I'm sitting there, I'm thinking, yeah, who is that? I'd really like to meet that person, right? And they go, you know, not only did he buy these properties, he bought it no money down. People are like, whoa, we want to know. I'm like, whoa, I want to know that. So I'm just sitting there, and finally he says, okay, Sunil, stand up. And this is me sitting down. I'm like, me? Like, I'm so scared to even stand up in my chair. And I said, I stood up like this, right? And I'm like, yes? And like look at the body language that I was doing naturally before, right? I'm like, oh. And he goes, so you came here 3 months ago, right? I said, yes. He said, guys, let's give him a hand. So they gave me a hand. They said, you know what? Why don't you come up on the stage, Sunil? Boom, 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 right? And I'm saying, why is does this guy not like me? Does he hate my guts? Like, why would he do that to me? And he says, come on. And I said, no, I'm okay. He said, guys, give him a hand. And then everybody's like, come on up, come on up. And I'm walking up to the stage like this, and I was going to melt to the stage. I came in, and I said, so tell us a little bit. Well, I bought this property. He said, we can't hear you. This is how I was talking, right? So he says, okay. So you came to this event, yes. You learned how to do it. Then you bought the property, yes. Says, now, what are you up to these days? I said, well, I got these 20 townhouses. They're $60,000 below market value. You don't have to fix anything. I can get rent-to-own tenants in them. He goes, hang on a second. Could you raise your voice, please, so we can all hear you? So I said, well, I was, this townhouses. If you don't want it, it's okay. I mean, it's no big deal. But if you think, he goes, whoa, hang on a second. So he goes, here, Sunil, you got townhouses in Burlington. I said, yes. He goes, they're $60,000 below market value. I said, yes. And you're going to take care of all the fixing. I said, yes. You're going to help people get their tenants and rent-to-own tenants in there. Yes. And you can get it with no money down. I said, yes. Guys, give him a hand. Give me a hand right now. I became more powerful than the guru that day, but I didn't know. I didn't know what was going on. I still didn't know what's going to happen to me, at the break. I had no idea what's going to happen to me in the break. I just go back, sit down. People are throwing their cards at me. I'm like, what? No? And I'm like, well, these are crazy people throwing cards at me. Why would they do that? So I just sit there and just watch their break comes. People run to me and say, tell me about those townhouses. I sold 20 condos that day. What I realized that day is that if you connect with the center of influence, one center of influence can change your life. So what I do, I call up that speaker. I say, when are you coming in next time? He goes, I'm coming in 2 months. In those days, when I started, those days they were coming almost every month, every 2 months. It was like people had to hear real estate seminar, and I don't know what happened, but 300 people would just show up. I don't know what. You just show up. It's not like right now. So I said to him, hey, I have this project, and I'd like to give you $5,000 for it, and there's 20 more condos. He goes, I like it. And all he had to do was to do the same thing that he did in the past, and I wrote him a check for every condo that sold at that room, $5,000 from what I was making. And I realized very, very quickly that person, being from center of influence point of view, has changed my life, subconsciously. So you can network from here, you can network from here, or you can network from here. And if you network from here, that's the easiest, the fastest way to make money. Okay? So most people think about it, would not even go to a speaker and say, hey, I want to do business with you. I thought it was a crazy idea that the speaker would make $5,000 for just doing this, and I'm doing all the hard. And my initial thought was, I'm doing all the hard work. I'm doing everything. This guy's just standing and saying a few minutes and all that stuff. That guy started making more money from me than the organization that he was working for. Wow. Changed his life, my life. And then he started calling me and say, hey, do you know I'm coming to town in 2 weeks? Make sure you come. And what else you got? I sold condos in Montreal. I sold condos downtown Toronto and all that stuff. So I just went in. So how did I do 77? I wholesaled. I did rent-to-owns, I did rentals, I did flips, and I did very little work because I wanted people to do the work. I wanted to just put the deals together. And I became an author, basically, who wants to write a book, but doesn't want to sell one book. He wants to sell many books at a time. Real estate, numbers, that's what it was. Some of the deals, I made only $3,000. Some of the deals, I made $10,000. Some of the deals, I made $15,000. I went to a place called, at the Winston Churchill in Eglinton, by several, past Winston Churchill, past that, west of Winston Churchill. And there's many builders there who were building it. And we went in, and we bought many detached houses with an assignment clause, with $5,000 down, and I flipped them all. There were also times when people would line up. You know, the first day, mad at me and this and that. In those days, they would line up. They would give like crazy deals. How did I do it? when there was 300 people in the line, but I got it. And they only had 50. How did I do it? I'm sorry? So no connection with Madame. You guys can go and do this right now or whatever it is. So there was, of course, as I built up, I was dealing directly with the developers and sitting at their dinner table and saying, hey, I'm going to get 30 condos or 30 houses. Well, what can we do?
You paid the guy in front of the line $5,000.
Perfect. I paid somebody to just go line up for me. That's it. If I give you $1,000, would you go in sleep overnight? Yes, I will. $1,000. Right? And we went in there, and then 150 people got sent back. But I got it. And then I go in, I would say, how many can I buy? They said, buy one. That's all I did. They say, can I buy two? I'll buy two. I just signed it because I knew I had 10 days without asking. Just sign it. Who cares? As long as it's a good deal. 77 deals were bought, sold, flipped, assigned, rented, rent-to-own, and at the end of the day, those deals I was only counting because every time I went to the stage, they say, hey, what number are you at? Well, I'm at 33, I'm 44, I'm 39, I'm 56. So I was counting them. But that number had no value, except for now it's impressive to write a book on, right? How I bought 77 properties. It's a very impressive. But to me, his bottom line was, did I make money? If you sell 77 properties and don't make money, then what the hell? Most of people that I deal with, they're in businesses. They say, I'm in business. I said, what business? Well, I'm a mortgage broker. I'm a real estate investor. I'm a real estate agent. I am a coach, a mentor, author, blah, blah, blah. I say, great. How much money are you making? Well, I'm still working at it right now. No, how much money have you been making? Not much. Then you're not in business. Rule number one of having in business, make sure you make money. It's simple. I mean, make sure you get enough revenues that are more than the expenses. That's it. But here's the rule of a business from when I was buying franchises, I was buying coffee shops and all that stuff. You see, you buy it, and the first year, Sunil, expect to lose money. You work 12 hours a day, hire students, pay the rent, do all that kind of stuff. And if you lose this much money, you're doing not bad. But if you break even, wow, you did great. First 2 years, don't expect any money. That's so stupid. That's like me saying, come and work for this guy, and for first 2 years, we're just not going to pay you. And then after that, if you do well, maybe he'll hire you. It makes no sense, but this is the BS we've been bought into. Go get business, don't expect profits. To me, go get into business, expect profits. That's what it is. Yes, sir.
Just a question.
Where's the water?
You said you get a assignment and those deal. Who do you sell those ones? Like how you get the buyer? How you attract the clients?
Good. Okay, thank you. Good question. The question is, how do you can the buyer find the buyers and track? Can somebody answer his question? Because I just told you guys how I did it, but can somebody answer? Yes. Yes, go ahead.
He gets the buyers by announcing the deals on stage, and the people come to him. When he goes to those events.
Listen to me. I gave you that formula. I used his influence. I helped people who wanted to buy property below market value. I made them money, I made money. Repeat. Most of you are going to go, I'm going to work hard, I'm going to work hard, I'm going to work hard. My daddy told me I'm going to work hard, I'm going to work hard. And then I don't need influence, because that's only from politicians, that's only for high-end investors. That's not for me. If you're in business, you need influence. I don't care, influence is this much, this much, this much. You need influence, right? Or you borrow the influence to make that happen. Excuse me. Bigger the C, bigger the money. What's C?
Credibility.
Credibility. Influence, credibility. The bigger that is, the more money you're going to make. That's just the way it is. So then, the point here is, so how many people were, let's say there were 100 people, maybe more, 200 people per time. And How many of those 200 people did exactly what I did? You have to guess, if you have to guess. How many? 0. 0. Because they just sat there. They said, you know what? One day I'm going to learn. I'm going to learn. I am going to learn. I'm going to learn again. And one day I will become a learning junkie. And then I'm going to learn more. That's one category. The other category is, I just do it. I'm going to do it someday. Some other day. It's not the right time. Stars are not lined up yet. Positionings are different at this moment. My wife will not say yes to it right now. Okay? All the BS stories.
Can we follow up on that, Sunil?
Which one?
One piece that you left out of the story, and I hope I'm not asking you to disclose too much. You shook the hands of the gentleman with the 20 condos. Didn't know how the hell you were going to do it. What happened that day or night when you went home? And in fact, I asked the question because I think a lot of us, and this goes to the whole issue of people with negative influence in our lives, and I'm not saying she necessarily was.
She was. She was.
That played itself out. Because I think that's a big impediment to a lot of people.
Well,
including myself,
thank you.
of Why we can't succeed.
Awesome.
We don't.
Okay, awesome. So the point here is this. If your vision, your goal, your life, your family, your wife, your kids, and your parents, and your generations to come depended on you doing something, and you can't sell that to your wife or your husband, then you're not going to be rich. Then you just don't have a burning desire to do what needs to be done. You're just like a flake that moves around with the wind. Okay? So when you go home, when people say to me, this is what I want to do, but my wife won't allow it, or I said, do it, and then go and beg, plead, whatever you have to do, and say, this is important to me, we have to do it. And then you do things that she wants to do. You want to go to opera? You want to go shopping? You want me to walk around with you with every little store so you can try on and see how beautiful I look, and at the end say, well, no, I don't want it. This was devastating to me, but I went and I did it. The whole point here is, it is not when I signed a deal that she would be upset, because no money was, like, what's the worst? You're going to lose your entire credibility. Where this comes into more of an issue is that I went to an event and paid $5,000, $10,000, $20,000, and now you have to go back and explain was an issue, right? And the whole point was, and you'll find this, I don't mean it in a bad way or anything like that. For me, I was going like this in my personal growth. And for Sangeeta, she was not, okay? So the one man on this planet really helped me move her to go up alongside of me, and his name is Tony Robbins. I took her to Tony Robbins' show in Toronto to walk on fire and all that kind of stuff. And I bribed her by saying, we're all going to have a nice hotel. We're going to have dinner tonight. We're going to leave home. I'm going to stay in a hotel for the next 4 days. And we're going to have a mini vacation. We're going to have a dinner. We're going to have a movie. And all you have to do is just sit there. And if you don't like it, that's no problem. In the evenings, we're going to go. She's like, yeah. So we go downtown, and Tony Robbins is about to come in, and I bought the VIP tickets. We are like second row from Tony Robbins sitting there or whatever it is, and she's sitting right there. And it took Tony Robbins 5 minutes to her going, yeah, yeah! I'm like, whoa, what happened here? And then, at the end of the day, we were supposed to go out for dinner at 6 or 7. It's midnight. We're still going, yeah, yeah. Like, ah. At 2 o'clock in the morning, we walked on fire. And the next day, she was up early in the morning. Next day, she was up again. She was up again. And that changed her mindset a bit. And then I took her to another one. And then my goal became, how do I take her to event and bribe her to be there to get what she wants? You got to sell your dream to the people closest to you. If you can't sell the dream to people closest to you, then you're not going to be successful. You can't sell it to people that you don't know. Got to be able to prove to them. And it's going to be hard. It's not going to be easy. But you got to do it. You got to go to them I had a lady the other day said, hey, I'm doing this. I'm writing a book with Brian Tracy because I really want to be wealthy and successful and all that stuff. But what do I do when I go home and my husband says, what did you do? Spending $10,000, like, what are you doing, right? And I said to her, how important is it for you that this happens? She goes, very important. How long have you been trying to do it? So many years. And I said, you got to go do whatever it takes to sell it to him and tell him how important it is for you that you do this. And she did it. And she was able to do it. So whole point here is, it's when you spend money that you're going to have issue. If you come home and say, I signed a document that says I'm going to sell this, and if I don't sell it, the worst case scenario is I'll never do business with her. It's no different. She doesn't know. She doesn't care. And this idea about what's happening. So credibility can be borrowed, can be created. Write a book, YouTube videos, train people, be on stages, share stages with big boys. I have changed many people's lives just by bringing them on the stage. Just putting them on a big stage with Brian Tracy, Robert Allen, Jack Canfield, people like that. And then when I'm coaching them, because it's not just coming on the stage, but once I get on the stage, what is the monetization model that I have that is amazing? And that's what you must do. In order for you to do this, understand one thing, the public speaking is the highest paying profession on the planet, and the hardest thing about public speaking is getting stages to speak on. That's it. Hardest thing about doing business in real estate is to find investors who are going to buy your deals. That's just the way it is. What if you get people with money coming to you, begging you, and getting upset with you that you did not give them a deal? I've been in that position many, many times. After that, when I made that $1 million that day, it was exactly, approximately 100, maybe a little bit more, 105, 110 people in the room, and I sold so many condos in one day where my profits were more than $1 million. And that's happened because of the fact that you have an influence, but more importantly, I gave them great deal. Think about it today, what I did today. It's almost like it's a loss leader. So you pay $47. You get to come to a 2-day event, which cost me over $100,000 to put together. Okay? $100,000. Yes. And then you get to have a ticket. Then you get to have a gold note. Then you get to have a book. You get all these things for $47. And that's what I call irresistible offer. Even the people who bought tickets in the past are saying, I'm going to buy more. Some people bought 4 tickets because they just want 4 gold notes. they might sell the tickets or whatever it is. That's an irresistible offer that you must create. Because if somebody gives you $1, give them $2 back. And you'll never be poor. You'll always be rich. And do this, which is influence, help people make money, influence, help people make money, influence. And keep doing that again and again and again. And the good thing about what I do is not only do I talk about it, not only do I teach about it, I open the doors for you to do about it, to do it. So somebody says to you, see, I want to become highly paid mentor or coach. I have a system to help you with that. I want to become a public speaker. I have a system with that. I want to write a book, my own book. I have a system for that. I want to write a book with Brian Tracy, Robert Allen, or what are these people? I have a system for that, for you to do it. And I have about 29 people behind the scenes working to publish that book, to market that book. It's a lot of work. But you don't have to do that work. Somebody else can do the work. That's the whole point, to make that happen. The influence equals money. Whether you're doing influence on one-on-one, whether you're a parent to a child, whether you're a spouse, whether you're selling insurance, whether you're selling whatever, influence helps. Otherwise, it's the customer who's in charge. And when the customer is in charge, customer gets to ask questions like, why should I buy from you? Can you reduce the price? Can you do it this way? So-and-so is listing my house for 4.2%. Could you do it for 3.5%? No one, 99.9% of the time, I charge a lot more, I deliver a lot more, And I don't deal with people who say, can you, so-and-so is a coach, and he's charging, whatever. Why are you charging $25,000? I don't care what they're doing. Go to them. But if you want to come and see me, this is what the cost is. My mentoring program, let me give you an example of what that works. So if you, for $25,000, it used to be, I used to take anybody on. Doesn't matter. You have money? I'll take it on. No problem. And there were people they wouldn't do the work. They're pessimistic. They cry about everything. They'd say something like, oh, it's raining today, so can I cancel the appointment? And stuff like that. And I block off that time just for them. Then I went to this idea about you fill out a police-style questionnaire where I'll analyze in advance whether I'm going to be able to do work with you or not. And here's what I'm going to do. You pay $25,000, I guarantee you'll make $50,000 if I choose to work with you. Now I'll have lineup people. Why? Because if I work with you, if I choose you, then chances are you're going to make $50,000. Only one thing. You got to do what I say. Do not be the person who says, oh, I'm going to have money coming in. It's just falling in my lap. And all. It doesn't work that way. You're going to have to work. But if you do what I say, you'll make $50,000 or I'll keep mentoring you. And that's what we call a very, very different way of doing business with people. People who shake hands with me and they back out are not the type of people that I want to do business with. I can't do them. And you should not do them with them too. Okay? To make that happen. So when you're doing your business, I want you to think about your product. And I want you to say, how is my product, even if it's the same product, how am I dealing with people differently than regular people? How do I stand out? Do I have a book? Do I have a training series? Do I have when you do this, I'll give you this kind of package and all that kind of stuff. What do you have that is different to make it happen? And that's a great deal to make that happen. What I'll do is this. I'm going to get the screen down. And while that's happening, I'm going to talk about the attitude of people that I'm looking for, like a rich mindset, or what the rich people do versus what the poor people do, what I used to do as a poor mindset to grow. Now, if you have the poor mindset, then chances of you becoming wealthy is almost impossible. The stuff that I just talked about previously, of the stuff that I talked about where the poison that we've been fed, if you have them, it's okay. Recognize it, now change. 0 to 4, from the age of 0 to 4, you're absolutely in state of hypnosis, and you are giving ideas that you did not even approve by your parents, teachers, and people that you came in contact with. So, everything that we talked about, I can't afford it, I can't do this and all that stuff, it's been installed into you. And then from that, you develop your own adulthood. And that's where you say, well, this is me now. This is what happens to me. So ideas that you have are not even your ideas. They're deposited into you, and you think they're your ideas.